James Cook has still yet to show up for OTAs. He's looking for a new deal. I don't think the Bills value James Cook the way James Cook values James Cook. And if the Bills aren't going to pay up for a wide receiver for their star quarterback, I really don't think they're going to pay up for a running back, especially one that isn't necessarily going to carry the load like Cook wants to carry the load. James Cook had the same number of rushing touchdowns as Derrick Henry and Jahmyr Gibbs last year with 16. The other leaders at the position with 13 plus touchdowns were Josh Jacobs, Kyren Williams, Bijan Robinson, and Saquon Barkley. All these other running backs last year averaged 306 attempts. Cook had 207. Unfortunately for Cook, this is a clear indication of a negative regression coming his way. The good news is that he doesn't have a whole lot of competition at the goal line when it comes to the other running backs. Maybe that changes a bit if they decide to give Ray Davis more work this year. I do think he's someone who deserves more opportunity, but either way, the bad news is that Josh Allen had 11 carries himself inside the 5-yard line compared to 15 for Cook. James Cook was the only running back to have more rushing touchdowns than goal line carries last year. Cook had only 32 catches on top of his 207 carries, so while he performed like a fantasy RB1 last year, his opportunity is more in line with a low-end RB2. Among the 23 running backs last year with 200 or more carries, he was 5th in missed tackles forced per attempt and 11th in yards after contact per attempt, so he's good. But his offense is really what's carrying him right now for fantasy because the volume isn't there. There is a little bit of a volume cap, which props him up ahead of that low-end RB2 range where another middling running back might lie for fantasy, but I don't see any signs or reasons why his workload is going to increase by much this year. And to build that point even further, when you look at the work he was getting among those 23 qualifying running backs, he ranked 22nd in expected fantasy points per game. Compare that to him being 11th in actual fantasy points per game. Something's gotta give. He's the RB14 off the board after finishing as the RB9 in fantasy points per game last year, but I see a big tier drop off with the guys ahead of him. Chase Brown, Kyren Williams, Breece Hall, guys who are going behind him like Joe Mixon, Kenneth Walker, Alvin Kamara, James Conner. These guys, I think, could end up outscoring him this year. So I'm probably avoiding James Cook at his price this year.